He didn't pay you money throughout all the time?
I didn't ask for
He
any.
didn't give you a house?
I did not ask for any.
Did you get a house?
I did not ask for any. He demonstrated how he ran away. On television then. He said he acted like an old man. And then crossed the border. And they're telling me he fought for democracy? How?
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kenneth Okonkwo was on Channels Television last night to discuss the ongoing coalition talks going on among the various opposition parties. But the conversation quickly turned into an attack of the two usual suspects. When asked how the coalition hopes to remove Ebola Tinubu from office, this is how he responded.
Here's a question.
Yes.
So, and I see, I'll mention 5 personalities for you that gave some level of breadth and energy to the APC's merger.
Right.
One of them is the president, Bola Tinubu, of the APC. He was a very strong pillar that came into the merger from the ACN. You talk about Atiku Abubakar, who was emerging from the PDP. You talk about Rotimi Amechi, who was also emerging from the PDP, an aggrieved man in the PDP as a governor of Rivers State at the time. You also will talk about someone like Bukola Saraki, who was also in the PDP, who came into the APC. And you talk all of these people. If you mention Saraki out of the APC, Rotimi Amechi looks like his heart is out of the party. Atiku Abubakar sings out of the APC. So the only people that you probably will, and you have the Muhammadu Buhari of the CPC, then Rocha Sokorocha of the APGA wing. Now, all of these people who understood how APC was formed are now part of the coalition. Would you say that knowledge, that understanding, especially of Bola Tinubu politics, is enough this time around?
Now, people were not in that street when you were talking about as they are in now. Things have gone so bad that what we have in Nigeria today is the people of Nigeria against APC, the ruling party. It was not that bad during Goodluck Jonathan's time. It was the sentiment of zoning. It was the sentiment that Yar'Adua died in office. It was the sentiment that we would not allow Yar'Adua's death to be used against us. So there was a kind of sentiment flowing then. The economy was good. The GDP then was $500 and something billion. Today, the GDP is about $100 and something billion. Today, as at that time, Nigerians went to the streets for an increment of oil price by 25 naira, about 65 to 95. Today, under Bola Tinubu, we are paying 1,000 naira per liter, almost. And so, as at that time, it was the elites against the elites. But now, it's the people of Nigeria against Tinubu. And that is why a man is telling you any arrangement.
Who was that?
I'm talking about the former governor of Jigawa State, Lamido.
Sule Lamido.
Yes.
Well,
so
he has been corrected when he said that Tinubu is a later saint of the June 12 struggle and that Tinubu supported the annulment, which the president.
I don't even know why I don't even know why people say that Tinubu fought for democracy. I don't understand.
He was a backer of the Nadeco.
Excuse me? From London? 24 hours electricity?
Most of the
pipeline water flowing freely for you. You're enjoying yourself.
Were in exile.
And those ones in exile, they are exiled politicians.
But he was also.
How can you say
he was also on the streets
for democracy?
With those who on the inside in Nadeco knows the role Bola Tinubu played. Because some of us are not children then.
So the businessman supplying money, but you would not allow any personal discomfort on yourself.
So you didn't think that
when things became
Tinubu's role was that significant?
When things became so tough in Nigeria, you ran away. He demonstrated how he ran away. On television then, he said he acted like an old man. And then crossed the border. And they're telling me he fought for democracy? How? People died here. Abraham Adesanya was put in jail. Bedbug everywhere in his body. He came out from the jail. He did not run away. And this is a politician that during the regime of Abacha, he ran away. And you're saying he fought for democracy. How? Because the people that were dying, what did they then fight for? Those people that were put in Gulag. A man is enjoying himself, like I always said, in an Owambe, moves in London. And he said he fought for who? I was in Nigeria. I was grown up. I knew the people that fought for me. I knew the people that died for democracy. Those ones I will respect. But they can't tell me that with your money as rich as you are, and that's what most of them will do if Nigeria collapses. That's why the people of Nigeria must hold up Nigeria, must not allow it to fall. Because once it falls, all these pretenders that they fight for democracy, they will all run away. And they will go abroad.
You were once a believer of Bola Tinubu. What changed?
I will not understand what you mean, believer of Bola Tinubu. I was in the same party with him, APC, at a certain point.
But he was the leader of your party at the time.
He was.
If you didn't believe in the party?
Yes. I mean, when he became the presidential candidate and picked a fellow Muslim, I left. So if I was a believer of him, I would have followed.
Well, if not for that decision, you probably would have been in APC by now, still being in APC.
If they had done the right things, which they ought to do, I wouldn't have left APC.
You see, I understand Kenneth Okonkwo doesn't want President Tinubu to get a second term in office. And that's okay. But what I do not understand is the deliberate distortion of history. I mean, there are 1,000,001 things that he could say to discredit President Tinubu. But to try and use his June 12 Nollywood tales to discredit President Tinubu, I think is cheap and classless. You see, it is a well-known fact that Bola Ahmed Tinubu played a prominent role in the agitation against June 12 annulment. And a lot of prominent figures, including journalists in exile and in Nigeria, had openly admitted that President Tinubu helped them with money and other resources during the June 12 struggles. And the idea that those of them who were in exile betrayed the struggle, I think is just complete nonsense. And by the way, why are the likes of Kenneth Okonkwo and Sule Lamido, who of course started this debate, just saying this now? I mean, where were they when President Tinubu ran and contested the 2023 elections? Shouldn't that have been a good time to have brought up this matter up for debate? And of course, these days, Kenneth Okonkwo cannot end an interview without talking about Peter Obi, and that wasn't going to be different on this occasion.
You had told me in an interview that Atiku and Peter Obi are none of your option.
And Tinubu? That was my opinion. That was my personal opinion.
In the coalition, it does look like you might be back to a man who believed that you betrayed him, that you are like a Judas.
Well, I will allow Obi to be entitled to his own opinion. In our religion, you don't fight for God. Since he made an insinuation that Jesus had 12 and one turned against him, that means he's even claiming now he's the Jesus in the analogy. So he made an insinuation of betrayal.
Peter Obi?
No. How can you betray somebody you're not working for?
He didn't pay you money throughout all the time?
I didn't ask for
any.
He
didn't give you a house?
I did not ask for any.
Did you get a house?
I did not ask for any.
Did you get?
I couldn't have gotten.
Did you get money?
I did not ask for any.
So how did you betray him?
No, he should tell me.
Were you working behind him, against him?
When I worked for him, I never consulted any politician. And I'm making a public statement. I never talked with any political party.
So you were 100% loyal to him?
100%.
So why does he think that you are disloyal?
When I left, I told the whole world. And your program was even one of those programs that I used to tell the whole world. I said, from now onwards, I am not going to speak for this person again. They don't understand what betrayal means. But again, anybody who is writing or saying anything about me is a reflection of who that person is, not a reflection of who I am.
All right.
For I know who I am. I am Kenneth Okonkwo. My name responds only to the service to the Nigerian people and not to the slander of the Nigerian braggarts.
But has Kenneth Okonkwo considered the possibility of Peter Obi winning this coalition ticket? And if Peter Obi does win this coalition ticket, how does Kenneth Okonkwo plan to work with him again? Isn't it time for him to be more measured in the way he speaks about Peter Obi. And I'm not in any way suggesting he can't and shouldn't criticize Peter Obi. But since they are both now in the coalition train, one would think it would be more strategic and measured in his criticisms of leading figures in the opposition party. Because it's now beginning to look like he has something personal against Peter Obi.